Hello, good to be with you again on the program, and of course it remains the economy today, and it's a beautiful day that we have come into, and we want to enjoy every bit of it. That's our prayer, that God will enable us to enjoy every bit of it. Welcome again to the program. And right now we have certain things to talk about. Of course, I am okechukwu onubogu. Thank you, Divine. I'm okechukwu onubogu, and I want to ensure that the best comes your way as a wish on a constant note here. And this day we want to look at certain things that have to do with the infrastructural development of our country. You know, at a time like this, we look at certain things that have to do with the roads that we have in our country. There are some new roads, like in the FCT, there are many roads being constructed and being commissioned. And then the federal government has done a bit of I think they say it's 30 kilometers out of the Lagos, Calabar coastal way they were talking about, highway. But then all of these are the infrastructure development. But the fact is that whenever we get into the rainy season, a lot happens on this infrastructure. Concerning this infrastructure, we'll find out that some of the roads get to be somewhat washed away because of the fact that there is not good enough drainage and things like that. And also the areas that have had potholes, of course, it is during the rains that the potholes will come out well and even grow deeper because of the rains. And so I don't know what we want to find out what the government is doing concerning the maintenance of these roads. FEMA and all should be at work on a serious note now, and to see how best things can happen so that, one, the farmer, the entrepreneur, the one that produces food for everybody should have quality roads through which to bring their products, so that their products will not be wasted. And then two, the person that is the marketer would also not find it so difficult to get to have these products and to be brought to the city. And of course, that would also enable the reduction in the cost of these products. But when these other factors that have to do with infrastructure are not developed and they are allowed to dilapidate, then there is trouble, because all these things would eventually come to the table of the consumer, because the consumer is the final person. When it happens, how would the consumer deal with this matter? And of course, looking at the fact that the money has not been has not gone any better, it has not become any better. There's still difficulty in handling finances. And so all these are the things we want to look at and see how things can happen, discuss how things can happen and the things that should happen to help that the businesses of every person around would get, or the business of every person around would grow and get better. Thank you again for being there, and I want to say that it's a big pleasure having you again on the program. I have a guest, but before I talk about my guest, I also want to say that there are other things that we need to talk about that has to do with factors concerning getting related to this story of dilapidation of infrastructure, or development of infrastructure rather. And we will look at some of them and look at financial matters as well. And some of the stories on the financial matters are what I want to just mention now. The Nigeria Ports Authority has resolved empty container dispute between the APM terminals and the shipping lines. That is one major thing. To tackle the challenges around the evacuation of empty containers and minimize port congestion, the Nigeria Ports Authority has stepped in to resolve the crisis between APM terminals and shipping lines. The authority also stated that the strategic use of holding bays and bonded terminals is critical to alleviating pressure on terminal capacity. And the NPA also emphasized the need to be involved in the examination of holding bays to keep abreast of the potential operational challenges. The General Manager Corporate and Strategic Communications at NPA, Ikechukwu Onyemekara, disclosed these in Lagos during a crucial meeting with major shipping lines and the APM terminals at Papa to discuss the challenges of the delay in the evacuation of empty containers. You know, according to him rather, the shipping lines and the management of APMT have agreed to enhance the process of communicating available free pools to each shipping line to guide their container movement. So let me return to what I was saying, you know. Shipping, when you get to the wharf and you see so many containers that are empty, still occupying space, all these cause a lot of problem, and that's why most of the time, looking around that area, anybody who wants to move around the ports will always find it difficult because of the fact that many containers, some with things in them and many empty, are occupying space. So what the NPA is trying to do is a beautiful move to enable the fact that we need to clear these things and have better things. Let there be freedom for people to move around while doing their businesses. We also want to say that the banks, the Naira slump eroded Nigerian banks' global clout. That's the report we had. And it urges lending reforms as Tier 1 capital dips to $1.7 billion, not naira. We also found out that Afrexim Bank rebuffs Fitch outlook and reaffirms robust financial health. So we are looking at things that will help us. And then going final, before I come to introduce my guest today, I also have the international oil and commodity prices, a few of them that we have placed with us. And we want to see the fact that we have Brent crude at 69.55, WTI crude at 68.25, and there are these natural gas at 3.25, and gasoline at 2.15. Well, we'll still be talking about these things later as we go on the program, but let me say that it would be good if I'll take this story. I said the story because it's just one story today from the business news. Then we'll return here and I'll introduce my guest. But let me let you know the name of my guest. He is let's sustain it for a while. Let's take the news from the business world.
Global economic growth is expected to slow sharply in 2024, reaching its weakest pace since the 2008 financial crisis, excluding 4 recessions, according to the World Bank's latest Global Economic Prospect Report. Heightened trade tensions, persistent policy uncertainty, and geopolitical instability are driving a broad-based slowdown, with nearly 70% of countries experiencing downgraded growth forecasts. While a global recession is not currently anticipated, the bank warns that if current projections hold, the first 7 years of the 2020s could mark the slowest start to any decade since the 1960s, emphasizing the need for coordinated policy action and long-term structural reform.
Oh, so good to have you. As I said, it's just a story, the story that we have from the business news today. And that's the one you just seen and watched. So we now want to go further and to say that we'll look at the stock exchange briefly, then a bit that has to do with the oil market, then we'll conclude from there. And so from Nigeria Stock Exchange, and the oil share index is 115,244.28 points. Then the value traded was 5.03 billion, of course in naira, and then the volume 140.2 million that was worked on. The market capital is at 72.6 trillion, as I mentioned earlier. It's 72.6 trillion. That is, and percentage-wise, is an increase. It's 0.56% for the oil shares index. Okay, and looking at our oil market, Brent crude 73.11, with a 5.07% increase, then $5.07 increase, and it's 7.45%. That's a WTI, West Texas Intermediate crude. Then the Brent crude is $74.37, and it's $5.01 increase, and the percentage is 7.22% on the positive. And the Merban crude is $73.60, and the improvement and the increase is a $4 increase, $4.35 increase, and percentage-wise, it's 6.28% increase that we have there. We'll also look at Bonny Light, and looking at Bonny Light, we would see that Bonny Light, that is our own, is on $78.62. It's gone down. As I've always mentioned on this program, when we talk about Bonny Light, it stays long. It remains there for a long while before something else happens at a point in time. It will either increase or decrease. But that's the strategy of the Nigerian oil market that we're seeing. So $78.62. Oh, and the decline is $2.30 from 80 that it was some many months ago, and minus 2.84% decline. That's it. Okay, we'll return here, and my guest happens to be one of my most reliable members, people that are part of my program, guests, and I'm talking about Sampraise Itomo. Sampraise, of course, I always say, is a public interest analyst. And of course, he also understands the things that have to do with these stories, because he is an entrepreneur, he is a farmer, he is a lot more, apart from being a spiritual father. Good to have you on the program today, sir.
Thank you. Wonderful audience. God bless you, and welcome back. Okay.
It's good to have you. Let's talk. The topic one more time is infrastructural development and avoiding dilapidation. Looking at infrastructural development, whenever the rains come, the roads suffer because of the problems that we have. And so I keep thinking, why is it that we're still delaying in this matter of having railway lines everywhere? Because these railway lines are the things that would have helped to carry off the heavy loads from the roads so that our roads will last longer and get better. But we find that all these big trailers and all are still on our roads, and those roads are not meant for such heavy duty vehicles.
Machines.
But we see them there on a constant note. Infrastructure development. What have you got to say? What have you got to say about that?
Yes, you mentioned why are we not diverting onto the train factor, and that would have been very, very important given the economy of Nigeria, the commercial life of Nigeria. And let me first commend the effort of this present administration in bringing about some road infrastructure in the first place. Mm-hmm. You know, because in our people adage, say when you thank somebody for what he has done,
yes,
he will do more.
He will be encouraged to do more.
Yeah, so one area of his government which I admire is this road infrastructural development, of which I know if care is not taken, we should have been having or talking about a very wonderful express road from Abuja to Lagos. Hence, I've already been told about the one coastal highway from Lagos to Calabar.
Yes.
You know, so as he's doing this and he's being encouraged, let him also be encouraged to diversify. Let's go into it, because we have tripartite transport routes in Nigeria that can work pari passu comfortably and to boost our economy and commercial life. Number one is the sea routes. If we dredge that Lokoja river down to Bayelsa.
That is
vessels can be run Niger and Benue at the confluence there, then dredge it down to Bayelsa where he emptied himself into the Atlantic Ocean. So that route can be, dredged so that vessels can come in from that angle into the country, very center of the country.
And not just Lagos. And not just Lagos.
Yes, and not just Lagos. You have Calabar, you have Bayelsa, you have River State, Akwa Ibom. Yes, all those seaports, boats can take some commodities and persons by boat from state to state. So like you said, like you said, the road, the congestion would have been a walkover already. When you have boats, conveying people from state to state, market to market, that's number one. Then number two, we are talking about the rail tracks, restore rail tracks, linking Abuja to East, Abuja to North. I think we already have, Abuja to Kaduna is working now.
Yes, it's working.
Yes, but Kano, Borno State, and Benin Kebbi by your, what we call Northwest, all those track routes coming from Mina, that road from Mina to Benin Kebbi. Yes. If a train is there, I know we have a larger proportion of farm production between that axis.
Area,
yes, between that axis.
That will enable us have a lot more.
We link it to Benue State and on and on. So this rail,
of the nation.
Yes, the rail tracks actually will decongest the infrastructural road that is being constructed now, because, like you said, if you don't want accidents, then diversify, reduce the congestion on the road, and then go into rail, go into boats, sea ferries, and what have you. And then the Nigerian people would have been singing Hallelujah song on a daily basis.
Yes. You see, looking at in fact, each time this idea comes, each time this topic comes to my mind, or calls to mind, I remember, let me get to the other one to conclude what you started about the rail lines.
Yes.
You also know that there is the one going down south towards the Itakbe and line and all that. That's what's going from Abuja, get to Itakbe and.
But it seems to be shelved for now.
Yes, but abandoned. But because of something that happened on the way. But I think they are working on it if they have not already concluded. And you go towards, Delta, you get towards Delta region. That some people going to the southeast, some of the time what they do is to take that rail line from here to that Delta where the terminal, then from there take vehicle to the southeast.
There are different destinations in the south.
Easy, yes, and even to some other southern areas. So there is need to have a Laje, all that, all these railway lines. We need to put them all in order. We need to make sure that they all go through. And of course, it's no news any longer that there is no railway line in the southeast.
There's not.
And we're talking
there used
about
to be in Enugu.
Yes, it used to go from Enugu. You go towards Umuahia, and from Umuahia it gets towards Port Harcourt. You know, but now we don't have these. So whatever it is that made them stop, I wonder when the people in authority will start talking about getting those lines back, because also it will help. When you move goods from Maiduguri, they go straight down, coming through Makodi, coming further down, and going through Delta, and then getting into the southeast. That's what it used to be. But these days we're not seeing them, and we hope we'll start seeing them too, because it's important that we get to have them, because when they are there, that will help a whole lot in clearing the problem with the roads, just as you mentioned. It will help to clear the problems with the roads. And we need to have our roads in perfect order, because these things are the things that will help us to, that's why I'm talking about infrastructure development. We need to have the infrastructure put in perfect order so as to help the people. If these things happen, the traders will enjoy, the consumers will enjoy. And it used to be that there are products produced in the north brought down by rail to the south. And the products, the things produced in the south, taken up by rail again back to the north. So that it's not that the trains, they go back empty. No, they don't go back empty.
They can.
They bring in their cattle, because there used to be cattle brought in by rail, from north down to the south, you know, and all that. And then from the south, vegetables and things like that, oil and other things.
Cassava.
Yes, are now taken up to the north. So just as we know that there are things for each region, but these days we don't enjoy all those things. But then they used to be enjoyed because everything is, the route is clear and everything is made available. I believe that this administration is doing something to get it back on track again, because such things will help. So then let me say the thing I wanted to talk about, you know, that each time the rains come, it begins to worry me, because I know what the road in Edo Delta
looks like.
The roads in these two states for people going down south, the roads are something else. You know, whenever we're in the rainy season, the roads get so bad, so dilapidated, that there is need to do something to ensure that, let's say that this year, that there's an improvement, something better that we could get to have. That's why in Delta you get to see many routes through which vehicles going from the north to the southeast will follow. Many routes, because they follow this, after a while it's done, it's bad, it's damaged, they look for another one and follow, and they look for another one. There are about 3 of them I know, and they've gone through, apart from the 4th one, that's the major one, that will take them straight to the major road that will cross Abo, then from Abo going down again. You know, so there are things we need to do. These are things we need to do to see how best these roads can be put in order.
A lot of times.
But what will lead to their being put in order is what you just mentioned anyway. But especially Delta 1, Edo Delta. I hope the government is listening to do something so that it will help the lives of those who pass through these roads, so that they can enjoy too.
Yeah, a lot of times when maybe you have not traveled, possibly between Abuja and east or south, if you are traveling after like 3-4 months, if you are inside a vehicle at a point, you have to ask driver, where are we going?
Where are we? Yeah, because
the
it's no longer what you used to know.
Has been beyond usage.
Yes.
I was coming in from Benue to Abuja, and the vehicle passed through Alede. You know, in that particular town, Alede, I witnessed something very, very disheartening. A lorry loaded with yam to full capacity fell on that road.
A whole lot of money.
The first thing that happens to my mind is, this is our economy going down.
That's it.
There is our market stagnated. Now, the customers of this yam are waiting.
They are waiting.
They never knew that the lorry fell, and then the yams are already condemned, because you can imagine yams are fragile. From the tumbling of that lorry and falling, they have already been broken into pieces. And the road was standstill. You see, so maintenance is a culture I believe Nigerians should imbibe. So far, that is the area that Nigerians and even our government have not taken into cognizance, that it is good to build something new. But do you know, okay, what has really happened to our refineries is this culture of maintenance that we are not used to. You know, we always, okay, maybe this administration is building this road infrastructure. The next administration want to come up with a different program, possibly, I don't know, because of the money they are expecting, and neglect putting maintenance. And we have a maintenance arm of government for all this road and what have you. So proper maintenance, you build roads, then put in proper maintenance culture, so that we don't wait for it to be destroyed, and then we now wait for another 50 years to come up with road construction all over again. And
rather than maintain the momentum of that one, keeping it in perfect order, repairing any area. That's why I mentioned FEMA while I was talking.
Yes, now
there is need
that
for
is their
FEMA
job now.
To still be looking into these roads and see what could happen. You know, just a few days ago, I saw the one that is the new road that has been constructed in towards Nyanya, because that road that will go towards Kefi and all that, at the Nyanya point, close to the pedestrian flyover, pedestrian crossing. I saw that at the center of the road.
Yes.
Something happened and it got opened up, and I was told that there's water. Water started coming out from under
From there, there must have been a water pipeline, water board pipeline.
And of course, water breaks every barrier. So I don't know how it managed to scatter that coal tar, asphalt that was placed on that road, and it started pouring out openly. That's what, they had to let it be that water stopped flowing into Nyanya because of that thing. And I hope they will soon start working on it, because if not, that thing will destroy that road entirely. FEMA should have looked at this and seen who is it that should handle it, and they will tackle it immediately. So if
FEMA, their surveillance unit travels virtually every federal road, because I believe if you give Julius Berger, for instance, a contract to give you road from here to Nyanya, they should be giving maintenance for another 6 months, while FEMA surveillance it, you see, so that should there be any discrepancies, FEMA just contact Julius Berger, bring them to that very spot and fix it before it becomes a bigger problem.
Yes.
And if this is done on all our federal roads and these new roads that this administration is being constructing, I believe given 5-6 years from now, our roads would have become something better. But like you kept mentioning, it's very, very important if the government can look into that between Abuja, Benin City, that road, and it's a very important commercial road. Then from Benin also, Ekpoma down to Asaba, all those roads. If I was told that that second Niger bridge is whether it's already been commissioned or something.
Yes, it
so
has.
then the road that will link you from Abuja to that second Niger bridge should have been torchlight properly. And then somebody came from Lagos and they are still crying that Lagos to Abuja up till now is a nightmare.
It's quite a shame. Even talking about these roads, it reminds me of one that was talked about in Anambra State when Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida was the president of Nigeria. That road, if you go through that road from Anambra local government, if you pass through that road, it will just, what you spend is 30 minutes to be from Anambra to be in Kogi State.
Okay.
Just 30 minutes.
Okay.
And I don't know why that road, it was mentioned that time that Babangida, he went to Anambra. Road.
You avoid Onitsha completely.
Yes, outside Onitsha.
Because outside Onitsha, you have Enugu Road.
Yes. I
so
not follow that one. This other one, yes. That will lead to that way. It was highlighted at that point in time. Anambra State had done its own work, got to that bridge and stopped.
Okay.
Waiting for the federal government to put that bridge in perfect order and let Kogi State work on its own, get to that bridge. Simple. That it will take just 30 minutes to move from Anambra to Kogi. And so, if you're going to Abuja, it will take you just 30 minutes to get to that point, and the next 3 hours you're in Abuja. So how is saying 5 hours or 4 hours, really? 4 hours from Anambra, you'll be in Abuja. But I don't know what has happened, that road has still been allowed to stay up to this point in time, and nothing has happened. Anyway, another good news I know that we are hearing is that the governor of Anambra State, Governor Charles Soludo, a professor, is also beginning to plan for an internal railway system for the state, the light rail system for the state, just the way you have it in Lagos.
In Lagos, it's working in Lagos.
Yes, it's working and working quite fine in Lagos. And so that way, in actual fact, that of Lagos is that the rails are working, the sea routes are working, and the roads are working. So the three that you mentioned are all operational in Lagos State. And Governor Soludo is working on trying to get that one of the state, the rail lines, the light rails, to move all around the state. That will help because, of course, Anambra is one of the states that has, one of the states that have the best network of roads, in Nigeria today. Of course, that began with the presence of that. That began with the presence of of
is it in Badinuju?
No, not in Badinuju.
Ngige.
Yes, Dr. Chris Ngige.
Yes.
Dr. Chris Ngige did a whole lot of work, brought in for the first time Julius Biaga to work in Anambra roads. And those roads are still good the way they were.
And when Peter was there, he did
Peter
more.
had to follow up because he had no option.
Exploded
anyway.
the whole state.
He had to work on it, and he worked on some other areas that because governance, as I always say, is a continuum. So Peter B came in and continued from that and did a lot from the other side too.
Yes.
And Obiano came in and still wouldn't have been left behind, because if he had done that, it would have been a shame. But he followed what the others had placed there.
He did maintain
and he continued.
Obiano didn't work much.
He went to the Anambra local government area side, you know, the Otuocha area, and did a lot of work there. In addition to in addition to
is
what
he from that area?
Yes, that's his area. He did a lot in addition to what Peter Obi had done, and he crowned it all with the airport that is there.
Yes, Anambra Airport. That
so
first in history.
Yes, of course. Because
you know that I was told that it is the same Anambrarians that have hindered the airport development, because most of them are into this, you know, luxury
bus services. Yes, it's okay, but then
but now it has been
placed and it's been worked on. The fact is that that story, yes, we had it long ago, but the fact is that even if those ones were working, it's not everybody that has the money to go by flight to Lagos. So that one is still a thriving business up to today. The road thing with the luxury buses. So it's still going on.
In the entire Southeast, Anambra is number 1 in terms of what
transport,
I call wonderful governance.
For what we have.
Your governors are always...
Because we have had the challenge, and that's why Chris Ngige will remain always fresh in the memory of every Anambrarian, because he was the one that started it. And so anyone that follows must follow that way. If not,
of course,
you'll be asked what you have done with the money you were given.
That's where David Umahi copied it now.
Yes, and of course, transformed the Ebonyi.
He didn't just do like most governors would do, maybe from the city, the local government, the state capital to their own local government. But
no.
Umahi touched like every corners of
every corner of Ebonyi State. That's it. And so the man that is there now will have no option but to continue. Because if he does not, he will be asked what he is doing with the money. You know, since the man before him had done well. So this is what governance is all about. Developing infrastructure. Infrastructure development, it will enable, like if you go to Ebonyi State today, you see that their farm produce are not wasted. Fresh, every corner, everywhere. Yes, because the roads are in order. If you are producing from Kalagu, you can easily transport it to our Abakaliki capital. If you are producing from Iza, you can easily transport, and all those corners. From Afipo area, you still bring yourself up to Edda and all that. Yes. It's easy movement. Within 1 hour, 2 hours, you are already in the state capital. And so you have your money. You go ahead, do your production, and you have even some people who are off-takers that can come to where your farm is. Of course. Because the roads are free to come and buy and take it to wherever they are going. So there is need for it. I think road infrastructure is number 1 in terms of economic tackling. If you want to tackle the economy of a people, go on road infrastructure first. Yes, because when you do that, you have encouraged a lot of economic activities everywhere. For those who are farmers, for those who are industrialists, for those who are maybe the fisher people, the fishermen. If they are from the riverine areas, they will the fish are still fresh. Yes, to the city centers. Wow. That was the kind of thing that a bit of which we heard that was done in Rivers State with Wike there as the governor. Yeah, Wike tried in terms of road infrastructure in Rivers State. These things are the things that will enable economic development. Yes. Economic development, because this, and I want to say that even those in Bayelsa State are making effort, because if you go to Bayelsa, if you look at the roads and see the money that was spent on each road, you understand that it's a lot that they have done, because of the fact that the entire place is water. But they try as much as they can to reclaim land with so much money. The money you used to do a 10-kilometer road in Bayelsa, you use it to do a 100-kilometer road in some ordinary areas. Because so of the fact that when they say, you know, Diri is there now, when this thing was there, did he do all these things? Because I think I was in Bayelsa
I think during the first tenure of Dixon.
Okay.
And I was not that.
Well, he did the much he could. That's the point. And then
I was not that impressed.
I don't know how much I would say he did, but then he did some good work anyway.
Okay.
But then he also was one that brought in the airport to the state.
Yes.
The cargo airport. But it's not only cargo now. So Diri has come to continue and to make it better. In fact, he has done so much more than anyone else in the state. And that's why the agricultural produce, if you go to Bayelsa, everything apart from the fish, the agricultural produce, they are all fresh there. If you go there, you see that it's good to have infrastructure development. Just like when you go to when you go to Akwa Ibom State.
Yes.
Oh God, you will enjoy being in Uyo and the entire state, because everything you see, they are fresh. They are fresh.
It's true.
And so someone will start looking at this. Why are they looking this beautiful?
Soup.
You know, because everything they take is fresh. Exactly.
When I was there a few years ago. Yes.
So these things are the things we need. Infrastructure development, just as you said. Develop the road. You have done a lot in developing a lot of other things.
A lot of other
to ensure that development comes up. And you avoid
if I'm a cobbler, my shoes can easily be transported to neighboring
any other place, and people will get to know about it as they are even passing the roads.
So from virtually every
very good carpenters, you have their works, you see their products.
Yes.
So it's not just only the fact that the road has been built and farmers. Everybody.
Other artisans producing wonders.
Then there is the manufacture of products. You know, for the manufacturers. You come in and you start doing things like what the former governor of Akwa Ibom did. They have, you know, in Akwa Ibom, they have a company that produces toothpick now. And things like that, produces pencils. And all this. From what they have from the
raw materials are there now.
Yes, from the tree in the vegetation. Yes. From the trees they have in.
You have one of the thickest forests between Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Axis, bordering Cameroon, Bakassi. That Bakassi forest, you have been there. You see forest there. So we have the raw materials, and before now, we delight in imported.
Most of those things, you get them fresh there, and they do. And you look at their vegetables, look at the products of. That's why you talk about the okazi is well produced in Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
The water leaf, the things you used to do the dikaiko.
Yes.
All the water leaf,
all the ugus,
and all the ugu, all of them, they are all there abundance. Perfectly in order.
And if you have this speed train, moving from south to Abuja to the north. The northerners will have fresh vegetable 247.
Yes, supplied to them.
The southerners will have onions and all those Irish from Plateau State. Fresh, from every corner.
Medugri, some of these good products.
Let's work on our road infrastructure, and this maintenance factor.
Yes, maintenance
should be hammered on, because some of the roads are popping up now. But what of the maintenance? Is it maybe after this administration, the road have already gone comatose? It become history. Say that road used to be good.
Yes, used to.
A dead trap.
This one you said used to reminds me of one particular road in Anambra in Nobi, in actual fact.
Okay, Nobi.
If you
linking to Imo State.
I saw that road many years ago as a child, but it was washed. I don't know what happened. There was a small river by the side. I don't know what happened. That road was completely closed. It was when Gige came back as governor that he went back to open up that road that was no longer there. It became forest. He opened it up, and today that road leads into Nobi. You know, things like that. I mean, there are many things like that we can see. I hope that in Edo State, because of the fact that there is a lot of also infrastructural facility that needs to be put in order in Edo to help the production of, or the provision of these things that are, availability of these products to the market. Like oil. Yes. You know, they have so many plantations there for plantain and for gari, for cassava, for gari and all that. If these things do not find a way of exit, what do you say you're doing as a governor? You're not doing anything. Get our roads in order so that these products can come out. Let the people eat, not only for your state, but for other states, to help the farmers also to enjoy. Because these are the things that have been causing problems.
I was in Benin around that ring road.
Yes.
Flood could not allow us pass for hours inside Benin City.
Inside Benin City.
So that you have flooding, disconnecting one community from another.
From one to the other,
normal stuff.
It's quite a shame.
Do you know, sir, if we are doing road construction and we take into cognizance the fact that 3-4 years from now, how will this road look? Should there be flood like what's happening in Lokoja?
Yes.
Should there be flood? How do we mitigate the flood pandemic? So therefore, we lift up our road from the normal topography to something higher.
Exactly.
It will cost us more, but in the long run, you enjoy this facility.
That's
what they are not doing.
That was what the late Governor Atta of Akwa Ibom did.
Okay.
That if you got to Uyo, 30 minutes after the rain, you will not see any rain.
No water anywhere.
No water anywhere because
the drainage are working and the elevation is
proper. So we need to do all that. Even in Maiduguri, in Borno State today, this last flood that happened, I hope it has helped the governor and people, and of course the governor are here.
Zuma is trying.
He's doing a lot of work. But I hope this last flood that has come would help the governor to think again of how to lift things that they are building. Yes, so that they will not suffer this sort of thing again.
The architecture of the road shouldn't be as usual. So far you have studied the topography of that area. You should be able to step up something.
And know exactly what to add to whatever you have, so that it will not continue to be that the roads will be washed away every time one problem happens or the other. Kogi State, take note, because of
it has been a cycle.
Yes, around there most of the time.
Houses submerged.
Yes, of course. It keeps happening. And some parts of other states that are within that area, you should also be careful.
And what surprised me, sir, you mentioned Kogi State. It's a federal road, and that's the confluence city.
Yes.
Anywhere you are coming from even west, you are coming from Lagos, you are coming from Port Harcourt, all those Benin City, you must pass through that road. So it's a federal, very important road. So I believe that this present administration that is fanatical on road infrastructure should be able to look if working on that or improving the architecture of that road will affect the community living there, then we can diversify now.
Yes, of course.
We can diversify that road to some forest, from that bridge, and diversify to those hills. Carve it, like in India, so most of these places, they tunnel mountains.
Yes.
With good road network, tunnel the mountains, just find a way to make things eventful.
These things are all possible. Thank God that the Minister for Works is an engineer, a structural engineer, the one that knows something about work. So we believe that he will do something more. Well, we will still continue, but before we start concluding, let's also take a bit of the news bits we have. We have two stories in our news bits. One has to do with Anambra State, and the other one has to do with Dangote Oil, the good thing they're doing for petroleum products in Nigeria.
Nigeria's reliance on imported petrol dropped significantly in the first quarter of 2025, with the country's petrol import bills crashing by 54% year-on-year, according to data from the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). The sharp decline follows the increased domestic supply from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, which has begun operating on near full capacity, reducing Nigeria's dependence on foreign fuel imports. The latest NBS report shows that Nigeria spent $1.2 billion on petrol imports in first quarter 2025. Down from $2.6 billion in the same period last year. This marks the lowest quarterly import bill since 2020 and reflects the growing impact of the 650,000 barrel per day Dangote refinery, which started full-scale production in the late 2024. Before the Dangote refinery came online, Nigeria imported nearly 90% of its petrol, exposing the economy to foreign exchange volatility and supply chain disruptions. Data from the country's Statistics Bureau, NBS, revealed that Nigeria spent 1.76 trillion naira on petrol imports in the first quarter of 2025. Indicating a 46.68% decrease from the preceding quarter. Year-on-year analysis showed that bringing in the products from other countries dropped by 33.14% from 2.63 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024 to 1.76 trillion naira in first quarter 2025. Industry analysts attribute the sharp drop to the refiners' ability to meet a significant portion of Nigeria's petrol demand, which stands at around 50 million litres per day. The Anambra state government is acquiring land in Agwata and Orumba to develop a new industrial city as part of its wider strategy to reposition the state for a long-term economic growth and sustainability. Governor Chukwuma Soludo disclosed this on Thursday during a high-level ease of doing business stakeholders roundtable at the International Convention Center, Awka. According to a statement published on the state government's website, the event brought together key private sector players, civil society leaders, and investors. We are acquiring land in Agwata and Orumba to build a new industrial city that will serve the needs of both the current population and future generations, Soludo stated. The governor noted that over 5,000 hectares of land in Okpoji and surrounding areas that have been zoned for industrial development as part of a structured plan to curb unregulated growth and prepare Anambra for a projected population of 30 million in the coming decades. He explained that the initiative is anchored on a comprehensive master plan aimed at boosting investor confidence and ensuring orderly, long-term planning in the state, which is Nigeria's second smallest landmass. The statement further noted that a major highlight of the event was unveiling the Anambra State Railway Master Plan developed by Canadian Consultancy, CPCS. The plan is aimed to connect the state to Nigeria's national rail network, enhancing logistics and the movement of goods and people. The governor also outlined key forms including a fully digitized land administration system now tied to clear performance milestones. Certificates of occupancy will only be issued to developers who meet these conditions, while speculative allocation risks revocation. He noted this is essential in a state where over 70% of disputes are land-related due to years of poor regulation. Anambra is also establishing its Electricity Regulatory Commission under a new law that enables independent power generation and distribution. The goal is to phase out estimated billing and provide more reliable electricity across the state.
Thank you so much, Victor, for helping us with that package effectively, and of course Elizabeth, thank you so much for voicing it. And looking at what we've seen there, Dangote is still doing great things, making strides that will help the economy. That's all part of what we're talking about today in the infrastructure development matter. But even the more, Anambra State is coming up in a great way. All thanks to Governor Soludo talking about infrastructural development. Beautiful things that he has said, that they are planning to have its own Electricity Regulatory Commission under a new law that enables independent power generation and distribution. The goal is to phase out estimated billings and provide more reliable electricity across the state. That is the state. And so this is part of infrastructure, because when we work and there is no electricity in any state, how can it go further? And he's also talking about the fact that in Agwata, Orumba, or Boji area, he wants to develop a new industrial city, which is good, because if you develop this, then of course people or companies will come in to work. Industrial city, that's what he calls it. And this is the kind of thing that is needed. That Anambra should not just only be for buying and selling, Anambra, which already has some industries, will now grow the more in having many more industries. I remember that, again, a lady from Anambra, the one that owns Emzo Pharmaceutical, developed one great place in Ogun State, and that's where they produce a lot that has to do with pharmaceuticals. And the governor has asked that she should come to the state also and do something in that industrial place that he's talking about
that
today.
Obuji industrial
yes,
area.
in Obuji, yes.
Obuji.
So it's a good thing that such things are happening. Let's have such things. Let's have them. These are the things that need to be done to develop. If each governor works this way to develop his state, then the federal government has little or nothing to do.
And then the migration for greener pasture.
We'll see.
People will stop moving all the way to
Lagos and Abuja. You stay in your state and do good work because everything you need is there. Electricity supply is put in order like Anambra is trying to do. And the industrial development at a hub is also put in order. So people will be sure to make money that will take care of themselves. And of course, even in the face of all this industrialization, mechanized farming is also what they will get into. And so it will help. You know, there is rice in Anambra. There is Anambra rice, you know.
Okay.
So apart from that, we have no...
The one that have been popular is the Ebonyi rice.
Yes.
Abakaliki
rice. But as old as we've had Abakaliki rice, there has always been rice in Anambra.
Anambra rice.
Yes. It's just that because of development, sometimes people forget one thing or the other. There are farm settlements in Anambra that were had many years back. And now they are getting them back to put things in order so that we will have things effectively used.
And you know that
for the ultimate good of
apart from Lagos State, Anambra happened to be #1 in terms of industries.
Yes, of course.
In Nigeria.
Apart from Lagos and Ogun State,
because of the border factors.
Yes, to Lagos.
Anambra is one of the forefront industrialized state. How many years now?
So we're not.
And now is going. In fact, is blowing it up.
Yes, becoming exponential.
People should give me land in Anambra.
What the governor is trying to do. So these are the things we want to talk about in infrastructure development. Let there be reason for us to develop every bit of the country. Develop Maiduguri. Develop Lagos, develop Enugu, develop Bayelsa, what is it?
Bayelsa, Yenagoa.
Yes. So develop everywhere. Let the development come from every corner. Let there be development, further development in Kano, because there are still many things to be developed in Kano State.
Of course now.
There are a lot we still have to do. Arable land in the entire northern region, what is it doing? Let work begin to happen on them.
So sad.
That's why it pains me when we talk about them. What do you call this place that is where these fellows are staying? Sambisa Forest.
Okay, Sambisa Forest.
You know, Peter Obi had mentioned earlier that he would develop Sambisa Forest and use it for something. So let's work on these things. Let's have development. Infrastructural development is what we need to help. Thank God that this present administration is working on it. But let's keep talking about it. Let more happen, that in no distant time, Nigeria will be far away from what it used to be.
The Japa syndrome will just die down.
Of course,
naturally.
when we develop effectively, who is going out again?
Because every profession you think of is available right here.
Well, dear viewer, this is what we have done. We have tried to talk about infrastructure development and the effort to avoid dilapidation of our roads, of our farmlands, of electricity sources, and of our community lands.
Because
to talk about the industrial areas
we are not given to the road.
Yes.
It divert to the community and then flooding.
There'll be flooding. Of the seaports, of the waterways, of the railways. These are all what we want to put together. That's what we discussed in infrastructure development today. I want to thank you for being part of it and for being able to hear all this from us today. We still have a whole lot more, and to watch, of course. We still have a whole lot more to share with you as we go on the program. And let me not forget to thank my friend and brother, who has always been a great guest on this program, talking about sampraise, itomo. Good to have you on the program again, sir.
Thank you, Okechukwu. It's my pleasure.
And keep coming, please, because I won't let you go. I won't let you be. We'll keep bringing you in so that we'll share together. And I won't forget to say thank you to Elizabeth Oka that did the voicing of that, and to Victor Adeye that did the packaging of that, and not forgetting Divine Dabrilaga that got me on here in the first place, and Victor Chizea that is making it get everywhere for everyone to see, Timothy Obonna working with them, and of course Bright Chimeze, Bright Chukwebue, Bright that is there. I won't forget to say too that I appreciate you all being here. I mean, part of what has happened today. Obed, it's a pleasure getting to have you again and again. Thank you for getting me to look this way, and thank you to everyone, whoever that has helped one way or the other. Please, you are special. I appreciate all of you. Okechukwu onubogu here. What am I saying? May the best happen to us all the time, as I go away with my assistant, Esther, the one that has done a lot of work to put things in order with me on the program today, Esther Abraham.